Jai Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
So nice meeting you here in this virtual space, which is our space, which is Mahaprabhu's space. And first of all, let me offer my respectful obeisances to all my spiritual ancestors and our masters and all those who are present. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shanakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lankarte Girim Yat Kripatam Aham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. He Guru Gyanada Dinabandhu Swananda Data Karunika Sindhu Brindavanasin Hitavataram Prasida Radha Pranab Prachara. So in the following lectures and meetings, we shall discuss a very important scripture, a very important source material for devotion. There are many different ways how people search for God Supreme, how they want to find their own spiritual future, their spiritual destination. And our focus is on the path of devotion. Once a young man approached our spiritual master, Srila Gurudev, with a desire to join the devotees, with a desire to visit his ashrams, join the mission. And Gurudev told him that, well, there are many different ways how people search for God and how they worship Him. This is our way. We do this spiritual service in this manner. So please join, come, look around, try to find your place, because this is the way how we serve God Supreme. So in that sense, I think we are very blessed and we are very fortunate that we had been introduced into this path of devotion, because the highest approach to the highest truth in a most sincere manner, I think this is the best solution for each and every spiritual desire. As it is said, we are born of the nectar of eternity. We are born of the nectar of Amrit. So we should not be satisfied with anything less. This is our birthright. This is our inherited treasure. And therefore, by the grace of our superiors, we are introduced, invited into this beautiful campaign, into this beautiful mission of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a golden avatar. Bhakti, in the general term, bhakti means attraction, love, affection. And there are different types of bhakti. Distorted types, which are distorted into some material or egotistic feelings. There are some mixed type of devotions, like karma mishra or jnana mishra bhakti. Then either a desire for material benefit or some material achievement distorts this original idea, or when the desire for knowledge and actually the desire for the fruit of the knowledge, that is liberation, distorts the the devotion. And ultimately, there is pure bhakti, pure devotion, and this is very much related to prem bhakti, or devotion surcharged with divine love, surcharged with divine feelings. And here is our future. If we are good practitioners, here is our daily practice as well, and also our spiritual perspective, the ideal that we can reach, the ideal that we can approach. So devotion is the path, and devotion is the goal to achieve. This we have to fix, because following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's example and philosophy, we have to specify very precisely the topic, and we have to understand very nicely the method, and because this is the way to reach this beautiful goal that is described by Mahaprabhu and his devotees. So in the upcoming meetings, we shall discuss the biography and teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The story, the life of a great personality is always very interesting and instructive. It's not only an interesting story, but it's always a deep and profound meaning, a good example that we can take, we can follow. So this biography of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, which is given in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, this is a very precious source book, source of spiritual information for us. You know that the basics and the basic structure of our traditional scriptures, the elementary one is the Bhagavad Gita, or the divine song, or this beautiful conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, which is a very high type of revelation also, compared to the other sources of spiritual information and the other holy scriptures. This is a very high class inspiration for many different devotional, spiritual searchers. So even the elementary level of the Bhakti tradition is a very high class. Practically, the Gita is like an encyclopedia of divine knowledge, divine science, the science of God. We can also say that this is like a revealing science of God. That he exists, it explains everything. The Gita explains everything that is necessary to identify and understand the spiritual setup. The next holy book, the Srimad Bhagavatam, will describe how God exists. So the Gita tells us that there is a God, supreme, and the Bhagavatam will tell us how he exists, in what features, in what kind of action he exists, how he manifests the word, what kind of relationship he's got to humanity and to the whole creation. So this is a very detailed theological and rasic discussion as well, because the most important part of the Srimad Bhagavatam is the rasic chapters describing Krishna's pastimes on this planet Earth. So from this we can understand the intricacies and the details of divine existence. The Caitanya-caritāmṛta is said to be the postgraduate study of devotional life. Because from this book, we can understand how to be a good devotee. Because this is our part. Krishna exists. He knows his ways. He can show himself. He can maintain everything. He can preserve, bring and preserve whatever we need in our spiritual life. And therefore, our part, our job here is to be a good devotee. And this glorious task we can understand profoundly, deeply, theoretically, and also practically from the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Amrit, this book is also in the title, it is said Amrit, Charita Amrit. Charita is like the action or the movement. So this is the biographical part. And Amrit is like nectarian stories. We can say that in simple word, these are the nectarian stories of a very special person, Chaitanya. Chaitanya, the original meaning of the word is essence of life or consciousness, like the gist of a living being. The consciousness makes us a conscious living being. So this inseparable part of our existence. And this Chaitanya moves our life. This individual Chaitanya makes us living. Otherwise, it's only a dead body or an inert body. But with this life force, we are able to move, we are able to respond to the world, we are able to establish relationship with other beings. And ultimately, we are able to search for our divine goal. Attato Brahma Jigyasa. Now, as we had started this life as human beings, this is the best opportunity for the spiritual search that will make us real human beings. So this Chaitanya, this power of life, this force of consciousness will drive us, will inspire us to search for our eternal benefit. So Caitanya-caritāmṛta, this is the nectarian stories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's a long story, more than 15,000 verses. It's a really long story describing so many years and so many different details of Mahaprabhu's life. Actually, it covers the whole life story from the beginning, from his appearance until he disappeared from this world and includes most of his teachings, most of the relationships with his devotees. So it's a very, very profound and instructive book. But first, let me start with a little different topic. Because, you know, we strongly believe that God doesn't neglect the word. So Krishna says in the Gita, whenever dharma or religion is in decline, I will come myself to reestablish the order. I will come. So from time to time, Krishna visits the created world in order to maintain the spiritual divine order, to reestablish the standard devotion or religion, or to meet and help and bless his devotees. So he doesn't, never neglects the word. He is ready to come. He's ready to join us, the jivas who struggle with the material elements. And one name of Krishna or Lord Vishnu is Triyuga, meaning he appears from the 4 ages, he appears in 3. Triyuga means he will come in 3 ages. And of course, we are living in the 4th age. This is the Kali Yuga, the very difficult age. So we might think, according to the standard official rule, that in this most degraded age, maybe God will not appear as a savior. He will not appear as a guide or a help to reestablish the spiritual order. And this age, this Kali Yuga, is described to be a dark age, a dark iron age. What are the features, characteristic features of Kali Yuga? There's a short lifespan. Life is very short compared to other ages. But even this short life is sometimes so tragic, full of misery. There is a lot of conflicts all over. Just look around yourself and you will see that this is Kali Yuga in top speed. Conflicts outside, conflicts inside, between human beings, individuals, nations. So just look around. This is a high time of Kali Yuga, what we experience now. So it's a dark age. There's the decline of spirituality in general, because people in this short lifespan, they are very lazy about spiritual practice. So there is a decline, a strong decline in spiritual willingness, we can say. But there is one specific feature of this very fallen age, and this is the mercy. So the more fallen the age, the more difficult the age from the spiritual point of view, the more mercy is extended to the human beings. Because, you know, if you are qualified, highly qualified, then much is expected from you in respect of perfection or spiritual elevation. In the Satya Yuga, in the golden age, you had to meditate for a long, long time, very persistently. But in this short lifespan in Kali Yuga, not so much willingness is there, not so much knowledge, not so much power of renunciation is there. There's a lack of spiritual willingness, and therefore there is a high wave of spiritual blessings. So therefore, even in this very difficult and dark age, human beings are not left alone. There is a light, there is a hope for them, for us, and this hope is manifested through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he's a Gupta avatar, a hidden avatar, who comes extraordinarily, we can say, or who comes not on an official basis, but who comes on a special divine purpose. He's got a mission. And the age is called the dark age. And therefore in this dark age, only a bright avatar, only a golden avatar can replace or dispel this darkness of the age. So therefore, in this fourth cycle, in this fourth yuga, Kali Yuga, the merciful aspect of God will come, and this is our Mahaprabhu, the golden avatar. To compensate for the darkness of the age, he comes in his golden, beautiful golden form. So that will help us to understand that although this Kali Yuga is a degraded and difficult age, nevertheless, more mercy is extended here. And this golden avatar and the path revealed by him can compensate for all the troubles and all the difficulties of this very degraded and fallen age. So isn't that beautiful? Dark age and bright avatar. A dark Kali Yuga and a golden, shining, like molten gold, shining appearance of the Supreme. I think it's very, very beautiful. And in this way, we are very fortunate to be in a very close time frame with Mahaprabhu. It's only 500 years. And although 500 years, of course, compared to a lifespan of a human being is a long time, but historically, it's not a long time. It's only 500 years. So it's very close. You can see his personal objects. You can visit the places where he had been. You can take the same prasad, what he had taken. So we are very close in touch, practically, with this golden avatar. So this is the fortune of the present age, that still a lot of memory, a lot of places, a lot of followers are available who nicely follow in the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So dark age and golden avatar. I think this is a very beautiful compensation. And this dark age is also famous for this secret way of function. You never know what is what, because this is like everything is turned upside down. Something seems to be nice and correct, and after some time you understand that this is fake and illusion. Other times you don't recognize the value of something, and then later on, maybe you understand the spiritual benefit of that thing. So this is like a carnival. Everything is hiding, everything is upside down. Very difficult to understand what is what, who is who. And maybe for that reason, Krishna also comes as a hidden avatar, just to hide himself. Therefore, I think this hiding, the spiritual hiding, is also a very delicate approach. As I told, everything is important in connection with the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, in connection with this Gupta avatar, Mahaprabhu. If he comes in this hidden form, then this hidden truth about his real identity is also like a secret. One reading of his appearance is like an obvious version, and there is a deep meaning behind. So in one sense, we have to respect both aspects, the obvious that we can easily see, and also the hidden, which is revealed only to the chosen ones. So this Gupta avatar is not well known, and therefore those who know something, at least something about him, they are very fortunate because they can be connected to the path of mercy. So in this Kali Yuga, we can truly believe that Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of mercy, Kripa, Maitri, Karuna, different aspects of the divine mercy, but all is represented in Mahaprabhu's dealings and in his personality. So a dark and hidden and strange yuga full of secrets, and a secret avatar is coming who is at the same time very open-minded, very bright, very obvious, and also very liberal, very magnanimous, distributing freely whatever he has acquired and he has brought. So therefore, the Charitamrita is so important for us, not only from the theological point of view, describing the life and activities of a divine personality, because some part of this is a theological description, but also we can see these personal insights, these personal revelations, these divine truths that are revealed to his devotees. And from the stories, we can understand how much inspiration Mahaprabhu's devotees received from his personal contact. I think this is one of the most instructive parts of the Charitamrita in order to help us to become a good devotee, because ultimately this is our purpose. So, as I told you, it's a long book, thousands of verses, hundreds of chapters. It's a long path. How to start, where to start this long path. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami starts at the very beginning with describing some basic truths, some basic aspects of our divine tradition of Prem Bhakti. One first principle that he mentions is in the first verses. Please refer to the first verses of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, because they are like a beautiful litany. They are like a like mantras to chant, very beautifully describing these high truths. And these verses help us to enter into this mood. They help us to reveal the presence of those times. We can expose ourselves to those times when he was present. And the first principle that he mentions is Vande Gurun, respects to the masters, Vande Gurun. And here the plural is very important. It's not only one guru, not only one master, but he offers respects to all masters, spiritual masters, seniors, teachers, representatives, gurus, acharyas, because they all work for our benefit. And it is said that you have much more helpers and much more servants, like senior well-wishers, than you can imagine. So all those previous acharyas and devotees, practitioners who had been worshipping Mahaprabhu actually are well-wishers. We are the sons and daughters of the previous generations. We are devotees of the previous great ones. And hopefully some next generation will also come after us, and we should serve them. So both directions we can serve, to the seniors and to the newcomers as well. So the first principle that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions is the spiritual masters. And you know all the different types of masters, like the initiating spiritual master, like the instructing gurus, and also the spiritual guide in the hearts. So basically these three main types of masters are mentioned here. The inner guide, who is always with you, and you can always commit yourself to this inner guide. Then your Diksha initiating spiritual master, and also the instructing master, who will teach you. The Diksha Guru will give you the connection, the valid connection to divinity, and the instructive masters, they will explain and improve that connection to make it more reliable, more working, so to say. So this long story, this long journey of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta starts at the lotus feet of our spiritual masters. Isn't it beautiful? If you want to write a book, how you will write, how you will start it, where you should start it, start with your well-wisher. Express your gratitude. Vande Gurun, I offer my respects to my masters. I think it's very, very beautiful. And one other feature of Kali Yuga is that everybody wants to become a master, mostly without becoming first a student or a servant, which is a very diseased condition. So therefore, we have to instruct ourselves also to nicely follow and grab the full lesson, to learn profoundly what is given here. Krishna says that the Acharya is non-different from him. So it's a divine function. Guru is Krishna and Krishna is Guru. So we have to respect the masters in a divine position. But to avoid mistakes, it is best if we give respect to our masters and we give worship to our God. Because then there is no, for sure, there is no harm. Other times, otherwise, we can commit mistakes. So better like this. And very nice that immediately after mentioning the respect to the spiritual masters, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami includes something very important from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because you know that practically all the books, all the revealed scriptures are contain some very condensed essence, like a seed. And the Bhagavatam is also condensed in the Chatushloki, in the 4 verses. And in the very beginning of the Charitamritam, we can read these 4 verses. Why? Because here Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami remembers and describes how Krishna instructed Brahma. Right? So this guru function is mentioned, is repeated here. That ultimately to instruct the highest intelligence in a universe like Brahma is a divine function. The teacher, the guide, the instructor, the initiator is a divine function. So ultimately, God, Krishna is Adi Guru, the first spiritual master. And just remember, when Mahaprabhu said, you all become gurus, right? So what does it mean? You all become gurus. But for that, we have to understand nicely what are the features of a guru or an acharya. And let me mention some aspects here. One aspect is that the acharya is the sevak Bhagavan, or the serving Lord. So if God is the original teacher, he will reveal a sadhu for us, he will send a sadhu for us in order to instruct. And through the presence of such a pure devotee, such a master, he will come and save and help the jivas, the souls, right? So this divine function is, therefore, we respect the masters like Sevak Bhagavan, like this serving Lord. Very beautiful. The Acharya is also the Ashraya Vigraha, or the person where we can find shelter, who will guide us, who will embrace us, who will save us from this material life. So this shelter principle is also another feature of a real acharya. Another meaning of acharya, of course, we all know this, that he teaches with the example, which is very good. But a real acharya, a real guru will decrease or not only minimize, but to extinguish the material sufferings of the devotees. So this is what the guru takes away. Therefore, guru is like a fire, a bright illuminating fire, which will burn up all the material contamination. So guru takes away our suffering. This is for our benefit. And some positive features also. He knows all the essence of the Vedic literature. So this is one quality. He knows all the essential parts of the Vedic literature. Of course, to know the Vedic literature completely, like data, is practically impossible. But this is like the drop in the ocean. If you have one drop of water, then practically you have all the water. So if we understand the essence of the revealed scriptures, then we understand the revealed scriptures. So a real spiritual master will understand this. And what is the substance? What is the meaning of this knowing the scriptures? That he will follow the principles of the Vedas, follow this goal, this ideal of the Vedas, and will instruct others also on this. So this is very important, not only theoretically know, but also to live accordingly and to inspire others to follow, to teach others to follow. So if we find that type of inspiration, that will help us to come closer to the proper spiritual life standard. If from a source we can understand the essence of the Vedas, then this is the Guru principle. So therefore, we worship this like a divine guide, a divine principle. A special type of the gurus, acharyas, or senior devotees, this is the devotees in general. So this is the next principle, the devotees. And they are very close to each other, inseparable practically, because we must develop a vision that to respect each and every devotee, and first of all, I tell it to myself, to respect them as our instructors, as our seniors, as our examples. If we have the proper vision, the proper humble vision, then we can see all the spiritual beauty of others, all the good example of others, all the inspired part of a devotee. So if we see only the standard part of a devotee, only the human side of a devotee, it's not enough. Always try to see the divine side, the inspired side. Because the spiritual side of a devotee is perfect. It's very close to the beloved divine couple. So how it is mentioned, it is said that the pure, especially the pure devotees, are in the heart of Krishna, and Krishna is in the heart of the pure devotees. And therefore, devotees are so important for us, because they represent our Lord. They represent our ultimate source of inspiration. Right? As Srila Sridhar Maharaj describes that why Sadhu Sangha is so important for us. He says, because devotees, pure devotees especially, they represent Krishna for us. And therefore they bring the Lord very close to us. So verse number 62 from the first chapter of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta describes that saints are in my heart. So we have to consider this profoundly. And devotees are gate openers. It is said in the Bhagavatam that pure devotees and seniors, instructors, by associating with them, the gate to higher and more pure level of devotion is open. So if we associate nicely with senior devotees, then we can progress nicely in our spiritual practice. So therefore sadhu sangha is not simply an easy and good company, like we can discuss nicely and take nice food. It's not enough. This is a divine principle. So try to appreciate devotees around you like this. Krishna has sent them for you to appreciate. He comes to you through them. He asks you questions. He challenges you through devotees. So try to respect them in that manner. And not only gate openers, but they are also transmitting the mercy. If we belong to the merciful sampradaya, then actually the channel how this mercy, divine mercy, is reaching to us, this is through the devotees. Of course, more directly, this is the sampradaya or the divine lineage of masters and disciples. But in general, if we develop this proper vision, then we respect every Vaishnava like a master. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions the energies of Krishna who are present in this list of respect, starting with the gurus and the Vaishnavas, and then the energies. And here let me mention just briefly a very special type of divine energy. This is Gadadhar Pandit in Mahaprabhu's environment, who is said to be like a shadow of Mahaprabhu. Wherever Mahaprabhu went, Gadadhar is always with him. So following him like a shadow, without, sometimes even without individual life symptoms, so much dependent on Mahaprabhu, like a shadow. And therefore, then Srila Maharaj explains that Gadadhar is just like this internal potency of the Lord Krishna without Hladini Shakti. So we can say that the essence is robbed. This is like Radhika without this Hladini Shakti. So we can say that Gadadhar is a robbed form of Radhika. And therefore, the how to say, the ideal, the life and soul of Gadadhar is Chaitanya. Because one part is there as Radhika and the other part is there as Krishna. So everything that he aspires for is in his Gauranga. Very, very beautiful. So this type of energy, this existence and consciousness, divine existence as a principle and divine consciousness always follows the heart, the essence, and this is affection, right? So therefore it is said, wherever is your hand in dance, in Indian dance, you know, the gestures are so important. So they say, wherever is your hand, there is your vision. Where is your vision, there is your mind. And where is your mind, there is your heart. So gestures, our existence always follows the heart. Wherever your heart is, there is your mind, there is your attention, there is your glance, there is your hand. Right? Everything is connected. And if we follow the heart's principle, the essence, then everything will be harmonized. Body, mind, thoughts, action, words, practice. So therefore this energy, and we can also say like the heart, the essential principle is so important. And then something more is mentioned in the first verses of the Charitamrita, and these are the incarnations. Usually, people are, I mean, outsiders are enamored, you know, by this knowledge of incarnations that God comes from time to time. But for us, it has a deeper meaning, because we not simply worship Krishna in his forms like incarnations, avatars, which are kind of expansions, which are kind of reflections of the original, but we are more interested in the original forms. And for specific purposes, Krishna multiplies himself. And concerning the avatars or incarnations, I think this is a more interesting feature for us when he expands himself. So he doesn't send some representative, he doesn't manifest some of his energies, he doesn't officially come as an official avatar, but when for the rasic purposes, he expands himself. And three different types of such expansions are mentioned. One is in the rasa dance, when he is ready to stand by each and every gopi. Another form is in Dwarika with the queens. And the third form of expansion, it's a little more distant, so to say, is in Vaikuntha, the Narayan forms. So for this power to multiply himself, it's a very special divine feature. And actually very special devotees can respond to these multiplied forms. Like in the Vaikuntha, the Lakshmis respond to Narayan form, the multiplicity of Narayan forms. Lakshmi Narayan, therefore we say, the goddesses of fortune, they are the partners of these Narayan expansions. And in Dwarka, the queens are the partners of these multiple forms of Krishna in all these palaces and beautiful, royal mansions, so to say. So here, the partners of Krishna as in his royal form, in his royal manifestation, they are the queens. But ultimately, in Vrindavan, there is no royal or high-class features. There is only simple form, only the simple ras, so to say. And here, the multiple expansions of Krishna take partners in the form of the gopis. So this is, we can say it's more refined, more simple, but more refined also, because there is less majesty there, more intimacy is there, and less majesty. So actually, this is the gradation of Vaikuntha, high grade of majesty and little lower grade of intimacy. In Dwarika, more intimacy, but still a high level of majesty. While in Vrindavan, it's very simple. The gopis, the cowherd girls, are dancing with the cowherd Krishna. So it's very intimate and total lack of of some grandeur or divine majesty. So this is a very high type of secret when Krishna is ready to hide his divine majesty, his greatness. He gives up his official position in order to come closer to his devotees. So this expansion or multiplied forms of Krishna, they are called the Prakash forms in Vrindavan. And there are two more principles mentioned in the beginning verses of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. One is the expansions, and the ultimate one is the Supreme Godhead. So expansions, who is the expansion? Nityananda is considered to be an expansion. So we know that Nityananda acts like a brother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, Gaura and Nitai, they are compared to Krishna and Balaram. So if we consider these two principles, these two last principles together, like the expansions and the Supreme himself, then if we stay with this Nityananda, Balaram and Krishna and Mahaprabhu, then they are compared to the, Gaura and Nitai, they are compared to the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon appearing at the same time. And just like the sun on the morning horizon and the moon during the full moon, during the night, can dispel the darkness. In the same way, Gaura and Nitai, they dispelled the darkness of this age. So as we mentioned in the beginning, dark age and golden avatar. So the purpose here is to dispel the darkness. And also we have learned from our masters that Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of the mercy, and if there is anything more to say about mercy, that is manifested in Nitai. Because Nityananda Balaram is also the representation of the Guru principle. So just like Balaram is also like the Guru principle, Nitai is also the Guru principle. Sometimes they act in a very unusual manner, both of them, both Balaram and Nityananda, but actually they represent this type of merciful aspect of the Supreme. And if Krishna is the sun, dispelling the darkness on the morning horizon, and Balaram is the moon for the night to bring light into the dark night, then actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is equal in this respect, is equal to Krishna's position, and Nityananda is equal to Balaram's position. But let's think about the names. Krishna is dark, right? And Gaura is bright. So we can say that Mahaprabhu's appearance is an upgrade to this divine sun feature of Krishna. Krishna as a dark lord represents the illuminating sun. It's very beautiful. Again, the darkness brings the light. So it's symbolically, it's very beautiful. We know that Krishna Surya Sama, Krishna Oyan Krishna is just like the sun, and the illusion is just like the darkness. And where there is the sun, there is no place for the darkness of the illusion. But Gauranga is not simply bright, but is golden bright. This is golden avatar. So it's an upgrade of this original bright feature of the Supreme, Krishna Chaitanya. You see, so the life-giving force of this Dark Lord. And the moon is Balaram. If the moon is Balaram, the moon brings these cool waves in the heat of the summer. The full moon brings the light for the dark nights. And what is the name of this brother of Gauranga? It's Nityananda. So Balaram, the name means Bala, like strength or power, and Ram means happiness. So we can say that this is the power of happiness. This is the power, the strength of the bliss, the divine bliss. And what is Mahaprabhu's brother's name? This is Nitai, Nityananda. So not simply Ram, but Anandam, a higher type of bliss. And not simply the power or the force, but an eternal happiness. So you see, in this very degraded, fallen age, this simple, official, or standard divine functions are not enough. A simple divine sun on the morning horizon is not enough. A simple power of bliss is not enough. We need a Krishna Chaitanya. We need this illuminating life force, or the power of intelligence illuminated by Krishna. This is Mahaprabhu. And we need the eternal, non-ending bliss, or Anandam. So this is represented by Gaura and Nitai. And actually, these are the first and foremost principles mentioned in the very beginning of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So please remember this very sweet name, how we call Mahaprabhu like Gaura, because we had understood from our masters that actually Govinda and Radha came together as Mahaprabhu. When Krishna wanted to know some secrets of devotional life, then he also came as a devotee. But Srimati Radharani could not tolerate that Krishna comes alone, and therefore she embraced him. Embraced so much that actually she became like a illuminating covering over Krishna's dark body. And therefore this darkness, covered with the bright moon-like appearance of Srimati Radharani, became golden. So this dark force is behind this bright illuminating shine of Srimati Radharani, and therefore this golden avatar came. So Govinda and Radha together is Gaura, Gaura, Gaura. Govinda Radha, Govinda Radha, Gaura. This is our mantra. This is our happiness. Mahaprabhu showed the beauty of Radha Govinda worship, this very essential feature of divine worship. He tasted for himself, he distributed with his devotees, and through the holy name, he made it available to practically all the fallen souls of this Kali Yuga. And ultimately, let me mention one little story about a meeting in Vrindavan. Because, theoretically, we can say something about Mahaprabhu. We can discuss the theology, how nice and how complicated his philosophy was, etc., etc. But once when we arrived to Vrindavan, and immediately on the first evening, we rushed to this Vamsivat garden where Krishna was playing the flute, and with this flute he was inviting the gopis. It's one very favorite place in Vrindavan. With the black and white stones on the pavement in the yard, and around on the wall, that's very nicely, very beautifully painted. One gopi, one Krishna, one gopi, one Krishna. So this extension, when he extended, multiplied himself for the purpose of the rasa dance. It's very, very beautifully described there. So on this first evening of our pilgrimage, we went there, few devotees, 3-4 of us. We went there just to offer respects and pray for the entrance of this inner circle of Krishna's pastimes, and maybe to hear this inviting flute of Krishna. So we were just strolling there, waiting there, chanting there on this yard. It's a very serene, very peaceful place. But at that time, there was another group of devotees visiting, another small group of pilgrims. And we understood that they come from Bengal. Of course, we didn't want to disturb them, as there was one lady guiding them through the gardens, showing them this, that, explaining. And finally, somehow walking around, these two groups, us and them and us, somehow we met. We tried to offer our obeisances. They were also very inquisitive. Where do you come from? What are you doing? And we also asked, and where are you from? And one gentleman said, oh, we come from Sylhet. And this place is very much connected to Mahaprabhu's Leelas. But unfortunately, I don't speak the Bengali. They didn't really speak English. But then what can you say? What can you do? Then it came to my mind. Bhaja Gauranga Ka Gauranga La Gaurangir Nam. And that was enough. Immediately, they started to melt. They almost fainted. Tears appeared in their eyes, and they were embracing us and taking the food dust, and they were in heaven in the moment. And it was such a beautiful experience that Mahaprabhu and the holy name and glorifying Gauranga, Bhaja Gauranga, brings us together, keeps us together. It doesn't matter if you speak languages or not. It doesn't matter where you come, whether you come from the east or the west. Mahaprabhu connects you. So I think this is the blessings. This brings people together spiritually. So therefore, we worship this principle of devotion. We try to practice nicely so that it's an active principle in our life, and so that we can meet from heart to heart, from soul to soul, irrespective of any external differences or features. So this long story of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta starts from the masters, and today's discussion ends with this beautiful meeting with the devotees, with the pilgrims, searching for Mahaprabhu, searching for Krishna, searching for the beauty of divine love. So please take this message and remember this this story also, how the holy name and the love for Mahaprabhu brings us together. Please continue with your spiritual practice, and in the hope of meeting you very soon on the next occasion, let's continue our discussions about the Caitanya-caritāmṛta and the divine practice of how to become a nice devotee. Jnananjana Salaka Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Thank you so much for your attention, and see you next time.